viewers. If you look at what you have in life, you will always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you will never have enough. Words of Oprah Winfrey. Welcome to BMC English News Live. Myself, Marina Francis, joining you with the news updates. Today's news in detail. Cyprus President arrives in Bahrain. President of Cyprus, His Excellency Nikos Anastasiadis, arrived in Bahrain today on a visit during which he will hold a meeting with His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. Upon arrival at the Bahrain International Airport, his accompanying delegation were welcomed by Foreign Affairs Minister Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, Youth and Sports Affairs Minister and Head of the Mission of Honor Ayman bin Tawfiq Al Moyed, Mohrak Governor Salman bin Isa bin Hindi Al Manai, and a number of other officials. Bahrain tops Middle East and Africa region in tourism capital investment. Bahrain topped the Middle East and Africa region in tourism capital investment in 2020. The FDI Intelligence Tourism Investment Report 2021 has said. Bahrain secured $492 million of tourism capital investment last year, largely as a result of investments from Dubai-based Emaar Properties and real estate developer Eagle Hills. But despite the pandemic, Bahrain ranked first in MENA for the number of tourism jobs created in 2020 and second for the number of tourism FDI projects. Prior to COVID-19, Bahrain was attracting around 1 million visitors a month on average, and the tourism sector contributed around 7% to the GDP. Also, as the first country in the GCC to diversify the economy, the kingdom has focused on highlighting its tourism sector to cater to a larger group of visitors through new tourist attractions such as hotels, restaurants, and retail stores. Futuristic hospital run by solar power on the way. Work is on track on an eco-friendly solar power run private hospital in Bahrain. It has emerged. The state-of-the-art BD 25 million King Hamad American Mission Hospital in Ali is expected to be commissioned in November next year. Works Ministry implementing BD 28.5 million projects for the Health Ministry. Works Ministry is currently implementing 3 vital projects in the health sector of the kingdom, which cost around BD 28.5 million, said the Works Minister. The works are for Mohrak Healthcare Center, Center for Multiple Sclerosis, and Khalifa City Health Center in the Southern Governorate, said Essam Khalaf, the Minister of Works, Municipalities Affairs and Urban Planning. The Mohrak Center project, the minister said, had reached 77% completion. The project aims at establishing a specialized center for healthcare and rehabilitation in the kingdom with a capacity to hold 106 beds with all medical and administrative support for people who require long hospitalization, Khalaf said. Ways to boost Bahrain-India ties discussed. Stronger education, trade and investment ties between Bahrain and India were discussed as the Bahrain-India Society's new board met Indian Ambassador Piyush Srivastava. The envoy highlighted renewable energy, pharmaceutical production, IT data centers, agro-processing, logistics, tourism and infrastructure as high-growth sectors in which the two countries could mutually grow. Warning over fears of threat to nature. Experts have expressed fears of threats to the environment re-emerging after the lifting of COVID-19 restrictions. They said improvements to the environment were witnessed during the pandemic, but the gains were temporary and people had to rethink, readjust and let the nature heal. Out of 18,694 COVID-19 tests carried out yesterday in Bahrain, 80 new cases have been detected among 33 expats, 37 contacts of active cases and 10 travel related. There were 87 recoveries and there are currently 2 cases in a critical condition and 7 receiving treatment. Out of a total of 932 active cases, 930 of them are stable. Team Bahrain makes history. It was a historic moment for sports in the Kingdom of Bahrain as the mixed martial arts team representing the nation reached a historic landmark of 102 medals, winning 6 medals at the MMA World Cup, which took place in Prague, Czech Republic. The extensive number of medals meant that Team Bahrain took the leading position at the MMA World Cup with the #1 ranking for the tournament in the male divisions, thanks to the efforts of His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, who celebrated the success of Bahrain through the social media. The historic 100th medal was won by Abdullah Mubarak, who earned bronze in the bantamweight division. The young Bahraini was then joined by 2 other competitors after 3 other fighters had earned medals to get Bahrain within sight of the pivotal record. In total, Team Bahrain won 6 medals at the MMA World Cup. Aside from Mubarak, Murad Ibrahimov won silver at the junior bantamweight, with 4 gold medals, wrapping up a success story for the kingdom in Prague. The World Cup champions are as follows: Rasul Magomedev at heavyweight, Magomed Zadid Magomedov at light heavyweight, Gimbat Magomedov at junior lightweight, and Mansour Magomedov at flyweight. Now let's be back after a very short break. Welcome back. Abu Dhabi, Manama and Riyadh among world's top 5 capital cities to visit. 3 GCC countries' capitals, Abu Dhabi, Riyadh and Manama, have been ranked among the world's top 5 capital cities to visit on vacation by travel experts at bounds based on factors such as average cost of hotel and transport, number of attractions and restaurants, and average temperature and rainfall. The bounds list is topped by Valletta, the capital of Malta, with an overall score of 6.74 out of 10. UAE's capital, Abu Dhabi, ranked 2nd, followed by Indian capital, New Delhi, at the 3rd place. Bahrain's capital, Manama, ranked 4th with a score of 5.77, followed by Saudi Arabia's capital, Riyadh, at 5th place. UAE reports lowest daily coronavirus cases in over a year. The UAE's consistent decline in daily COVID-19 cases saw a new milestone on Sunday, September 12th. The country recorded 620 cases, its lowest daily infections in more than a year. The last time cases dipped below 620 was on September 7th, 2020, when 470 infections were reported. The country also did not record any deaths on Sunday, the second time this was achieved in as many weeks. The UAE did not see any deaths on September 2nd either, after nearly 10 months. Prior to that, the country saw 0 deaths from the coronavirus on November 14th, 2020. At 0.2%, the UAE has one of the lowest death rates from the virus. It has significantly lesser than the global average of just over 2%. Over 300,000 students in Oman have received at least 1 dose of the COVID vaccine. Oman has announced that over 300,000 students aged 12 to 17 years have received at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. The total number of vaccinations for the age group 12 to 17 years of school students in all governorates of the Sultanate within the national campaign for immunization against COVID-19 until yesterday reached more than 300,000 at 90% of the total target number. The total of the targeted vaccinators with one dose amounted to 81.6%, while the total of those vaccinated with two doses amounted to 8.3%, it added. Saudi Royal Court announces Princess Dalal bint Saud bin Abdulaziz Al Saud passed away. The Saudi Royal Court said in a statement that Princess Dalal bin Saud bin Abdulaziz Al Saud had passed away. The funeral prayer will be performed for the deceased on Monday after Al-Asr prayer at Imam Turki bin Abdullah Mosque in Riyadh. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa sent a cable of condolences to custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, on the demise. At least 17 killed in torrential rains and mudslides and homes destroyed in Pakistan. Several homes were destroyed and at least 17 people killed after torrential monsoon rains and mudslides hit areas in northwestern Pakistan early Sunday. The country's disaster management authorities said they were dispatching relief aid to the affected area, but mudslides in mountainous areas were delaying delivery. Efforts were underway to clear the roads. US could authorize Pfizer COVID-19 shot for kids aged 5 to 11 years in October, said sources. Top US health officials believe that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine could be authorized for children aged 5 to 11 years old by the end of October. Two sources familiar with the situation said on Friday. The timeline is based on the expectation that Pfizer, which developed the shot with Germany's biotech, will have enough data from clinical trials to seek emergency use authorization for that age group from the US Food and Drug Administration. Towards the end of this month, the sources said. They anticipate the FDA could make a decision on whether the shot is safe and effective in young children within 3 weeks of the EUA submission. The decision on whether to authorize a vaccine for younger children is eagerly anticipated by millions of Americans, particularly parents whose children started school in recent weeks amid a wave of infections driven by the Delta variant. Strong typhoon cuts power and causes flooding in northern Philippines. Several communities remain flooded and without power after a strong typhoon battered the Philippines' northernmost islands, the authorities said on Sunday, displacing thousands of people. Typhoon Chantu, which at one point was categorized by the Philippine Weather Bureau as a Category 5 storm, has weakened after powering into the northernmost region, including the Batanes Island group. On Saturday, the Weather Bureau said. With that news, we come to the end of today's news updates. Stay tuned to BMC News Live for daily news updates in English every day at 7:30 p.m. Good night.